G'day and welcome to another Daily Dose. Now, today I'm going to be talking all about how good is learning a new convention. Okay, so first of all, what is good about learning a new convention? Well, there might be problems in your bidding system and this can actually solve it and you can then get better results. But there's actually a lot of downsides to learning new conventions. In principle, it's a good idea. But most people approach this the wrong way. So first of all, people generally just love the idea of learning a new convention because they make themselves think that they're a better bridge player just because they've learnt this new convention. Whereas before you bring a new convention into your bidding structure or anything like that, you want to check what problem does it actually solve. So if we didn't have this, how else would we bid these hands, or can't we bid these hands? So what problems are they solving if they do that? So that's the first thing about learning a new convention. So, for example, Stayman solves the issue that after we open a no trump, how are we going to find a 4-4 major suit fit? Okay. Now, if you don't play Stayman, this is a really difficult and you'd have some really strange structure. So Stayman is fantastic on this front because it actually solves a real issue. The next thing you want to consider is what am I giving up to use this convention. So every convention that you use brings in some artificiality, or you have to give something up. So let's look back at Stayman. What does that actually give up? Well, it gives up the ability to bid two clubs naturally and stop in two clubs. Now, I personally don't find that there are that many hands that I would like to stop in two clubs after a no trump, but so it's a small price that we're going to be paying, but it is a price that you have to give up. Other conventions give up huge costs, and people don't realize what they're actually giving up when they start playing a convention. So it's important to look at what you're actually giving up when you do introduce a new convention. The other things you want to look at is how frequent does it come up. So you might have some conventions that you use for investigating Grand Slams or something, and they just come up almost never. Like, the hands that come up lots are those sort of balanced or hands where the point ranges are sort of all evenly split. When one side's got huge amounts of points, those sorts of hands don't come up too often. But you can use these conventions, but if they don't come up that often, you're not going to get the reward out of them very often. And then the final thing you want to look at is how tough is it to remember, because every convention you add has a bit of memory strain on it. So if it doesn't come up that often and is pretty complicated, then it causes a lot of memory strain and it's probably not that useful for you. So before you add any new conventions in, check out what problems does it solve, what do we have to give up, how frequent it comes up, and is it a big memory burden. So instead of just going in and starting new conventions just because you want to feel like you're improving at bridge, look at those characteristics to see if you actually are. On a slightly different note is, if you are trying to improve in bridge, I think improving your card play is the best way to actually do this. Because if you can learn to take more tricks or improve your methodology in playing the cards, this will have a reward that comes up a lot more, and it's a really important skill to work on. So when people are trying to improve their bridge, I reckon focusing on card play is the #1 thing, rather than looking at the bidding system and how you can add another gadget in. Anyway, this was today's Daily Dose on how good is learning a new convention. There is points to it, but there is a checklist that you want to go through to make sure it's a useful convention before you just start adding things in. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.